Hey, I'm Dave. Welcome to the shop. Got a little Christmas present project. I think it's 3 days on the calendar. Not certain. Maybe 4, but I've got 5 days. So what the hell? Anyway, I'll show you what I'm doing. It's a novelty, apartment dweller's gift, right? So I've got these stylish in-laws live in the city, and they need something to hang their sunglasses on because, unlike me, they care where their sunglasses are, and they have more than one pair. So I've got this idea of a little strip of metal supported in front of a piece of wood, because I'm a carpenter, and something that you could hook a pair of sunglasses on, and probably many. Something simple, but I want to up it a little bit, so I'm thinking of making something that's got a shelf on the top of it also. I've got this chunk of crappy wood, no good for anything. I think I can cut a piece out of this and turn it into something. It's a little, so it's got some bark inclusion in it, which is why it didn't become bowls. But it's plenty, if I made the thing a little bit less than ½ inch thick, there's plenty of wood there after I get rid of this bark. So let's see what that looks like. So at this point, I think I'm pretty well set up to go after it. I split the piece in half. It wasn't pretty. Little bandsaw action. I've decided it's got some bark on the edge, and I'm going to leave that bark. I don't know if I'm going to leave it like this or I'm going to leave it like that, but this is going to be my little shelf on the top. This is going to be the bottom part. Obviously the bark shows on this, so that's good. That'll go there like that. Bark, bark. It's like a kennel, right? I cut a couple of scraps off that, and I'm going to put these on here for supports for the piece of metal. That'll go on there, 2 screws, 1 at each end, and that should take care of that. This is going to have to get rounded a little bit and painted. I can do that. I've got some red paint. That'll be great. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do, because this is, now I have a problem. Everything starts with a challenge. I want to clamp this down to this surface. But this has got a round edge on it. I don't want to disturb it. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to set this very much like that. And I'm going to take a wood clamp and clamp this down. I've got a scrap block with some wax paper. I'm going to clamp this down with that there. Swing it around and clamp this one down with that there. Then that'll secure this. Then I'll be able to get some bar clamps and bar clamp from the block to this. Doesn't have to be hard enough to, move a mountain. It just has to be stiff enough. That should work like a charm. Clamp, clamp, boom, boom. Everything's good. And set this aside, go on to do something else until tomorrow. I have to do something to these because these look clunky, right? So I have to bevel these back a little bit. I'll do that next. Probably do that on the, but I'd like to do it on the chop saw, but I hate that. I think I'll just eyeball it on the table saw. I'll be right back. It'll be great. I'll trim these little blocks, and for what it's worth, I think they're all right. A little sanding. Could do some of that later. I'm thinking, this is going to get shellacked for a finish. Nothing fancy. I was thinking of spray can lacquer, but it's a little cold. And the shellac guaranteed cure. It'll be pretty good on the maple too. Alright, so this is all set to go. I need some marks. Where do I go, marks? Don't do that. Come on, come on. Alright, I just need some marks. Figure these will be about 1 inch in from either side. It seems like, let me get a little termination on this thing and a screw, blah blah blah. And that right there, that's all I need. Whatever that is fine. So that's good. It's happening. I think it's happening. Let's get a number on this. My little block is going to set 3.5 inches down and 1 inch in. I can do that. Three and a half. Like that. And 1 inch in. Do it down here, it's important. There's nothing precise about this, it's just it ought to look, you know, it ought to look uniform and workmanlike, right? I don't really want them to be crooked. Right. So that will go like that. Cool. And this will go like that. Those marks are on the outside, as long as we remember that. All right, and so that's, the pencil mark could be a little bit deeper, longer. Give me a better shot. I know, that didn't help at all. Damn. I hate it when I'm working against myself. Try again. I'm in the process of rewiring the lights in my shop, and I've got a light that I'm depending on. It's not on. Oh well. Okay, I've got all those marks on the wrong sides, but it doesn't matter. Alright, so that's going to go like that. And that's going to go real close to this outside edge. Like that. That'll leave me room to clamp onto this. That's great. Alright, so now, just so I don't have to chase this around anymore, I'm going to clamp this down to the bench. That'll stop the rat race here. So now all I have to do is deal with this. So okay, Gorilla Glue, a little bit of water because I want to wet the surface. Hardwoods, you should always wet the surface. Always. And let's go do that. I think I'm ready to go. Slightly dampening the surfaces. First, I want to dampen the upper edge of this. It's no big deal, just dampening, right? That's what they say. I used to not pay a lot of attention to that, and one time it bit me in the ass. What can I say? You don't forget that. One time I had a Gorilla Glue joint fail, and I believe it was because I didn't dampen the surface. Because I didn't. I mean, I know I didn't. I believe the joint failed because I didn't. So that is that. Dampened. And this one I'll do right now also. Dampened. Alright, it's not much, I know. But it's what I need to do. Okay, glue. I'm going to hang this over the edge more so I can get the clamp on this. Because I don't want this thing stuck to the bench. I just want it there for right now. So, this right here. Oh boy, what they didn't tell you about the little jar is it's really hard to squeeze. And they didn't tell you it was in cold weather. It gets a little stiff. This is no damn good. Oh! What the hell? This. I was just checking to see if there was maybe a plastic cap, foil cover. Oh, this is too hard to squeeze. Shit. Oh well. All right. I think I'll glue both of these at the same time. Because that looks like a lot. Come on. It's way too much glue. That was not good. All right, glue. dampened, glued, pencil line. It's going to look stupid if it's not square. That's that. Okay, that looks good. If I can do that without messing it up. Wow, what they didn't tell you is it's going to squirm. Bastard. It's squirming all over the place. Wow. Wow. Now, see if I can get it square again. Oh, oh, come on. You know, I was thinking at one point I'd just cut little mortises in this thing and make tenons on these and sink them in. And I just said, I don't need to do that. These will be fine. All right, it's in. Good enough. Now I'm going to swing this around. Stick this end off. Like that. That's all I need to do. Good. This has been wetted, so I'm good on that. That's where I want this to go. Got my pencil lines. That's good. Looks like it. I think that's it. I'm going to double check the square. That's good enough. Okay, that's definitely no good. Hey, better. All right, great. Now, tighten this. Okay, that's tight. Good. Now, bottom edge of this gets glued and set on there. I've got wax paper already on there, so I'm not going to have any trouble. That's great. I'm going to want to spread this. Be right back. All right, so found a brush. Never did decide whether I wanted it up or down on the bark. I'm going to go down. Now I know. This is back to the glue too cold to come out of the container. This is great. This stuff's got the consistency of cement. Alright, that's going to be enough. I think I'm just going to wreck the brush, is what I think. Oh well, it's already done, so it doesn't matter. Okay, with any luck this will foam up everywhere. But I can clean it off. I can clean it off. I like Gorilla Glue. Alright, that's going to go like that. This has been wetted, so all I have to do is push that down. These clamps are way too long, but They're right there at my, they're easy to reach. Come on, don't do that. Don't do that. They have that. I can only squeeze these as hard as I can crunch these down, so that's about it. But looks good. Looks like I've made contact. Set this aside, see what it looks like in, tomorrow, I guess. Great. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll, move on to stage 2. Maybe I'll work on that rod, do a little sanding, clean that rod up, and get a coat of paint on it. That'd be the next best thing. Okay. I'll do that. Well, I need to cut this metal strip to length. Wow, they say mild steel. That's pretty mild. Cool. All right, well, I got that. And a piece left over for the next one, in case another kid comes along. Can't tell. All right, I'm going to grind some edges on this. We'll see what that does. Well, that looks great. Got a burr where these were clipped. Let's see if I can do something about that. Well, that worked. Cool. I'm just going to go over and hit these with a sander and take the burrs off, and I'll be ready to rock. That's great. Sanding. This is putting a nice scratch, light scratch on everything. Should paint well. That's going to be super. That's going to be super. That's really nice. I'm pretty proud of myself. Great. All right, so let's figure out where the holes go. Pop myself a couple of holes in this thing for the screws that are ultimately going to hold this on, and hang it by a wire and give it a coat of paint. I'll see how you can go wrong. Okay, so I've got a stick. I measured the 13 and 11/16, and I'm just sort of trying to even it up on either end of this thing. Okay, this was, to the best of my knowledge, 13 and 11/16, and that's what I've got. Beautiful thing. Can I do this without a center? I don't know. I don't know. Looks good to me. Worried about these things wandering around. I don't think it's a problem. All right, scrap of wood to slam into. Cool. Burrs aren't bad, but I was wrong about the size. The good thing about that is I've got the next size. I've already got a hole. You just have to tighten the chuck, it turns out. Alright, so now I have a hole that the screw fits in. That's a beautiful thing. Just beautiful. Alright, little hand sanding on the ends that I didn't quite get, and then find a piece of wire to hang this up, and then find some paint, and I'll paint it. Alright, see you in a bit. Alright, I can't say I thought about it for a long time, but I ran into this can of lacquer and said, why not just lacquer the damn thing? It's got a kind of an interesting sanded crosshatch pattern on it. And all I really want it to do is not immediately rust. And I think a coat of lacquer will probably do that. And it's in a spray can, so you know how that goes. I could put 2 coats on. It would be great. All right, it's going to be lacquered. I like it. I know you do. I'm pretty pleased. All right. Lacquer. Who'd ever thought? So, let's take a look and see how we did. If you recall, we were gluing the top to this. I recall that. I'm going to try it like that. Get this clamp off. These little bar clamps work pretty well, I think, getting this top glued down. I couldn't tighten them much because they're just pulling against the side pressure of these wood clamps. But all in all, that seemed to have worked. All right. Nothing stuck to there. That's good. How's the back look? The back looks like I could get a sander and sand this thing and it'd be clean. That's great. The glue feels good and hard. I've got a 3/4 inch pair inches right here, so I'll try that. Gorilla Glue, while it foams and makes a kind of a mess, it chisels really quite simply. Nice, nice. Now the inside edge, a little bit more troublesome, but not endless amounts. That's good. Looks good. All right, now these little tabs that I put on. I don't want to go chasing this around, so I'm going to throw a clamp on this. Chasing things around with an edge tool in your hand, just take it from your Uncle Dave. It's not a good thing. All right, you probably catch on to what I'm about to do, but I'll get you a little closer. There you have that. So this is just glue gets hard. So I'm just going to outline it. Try not to scar up the wood too much. And I'll come in from the side. Fold up a piece of sandpaper and finish that. That'll take care of that. And then this right here. That's that. going to chase that with some sandpaper. This is some 400. Well, you can't get into an awful lot of trouble with 400 grit paper. That's good, except for this side, there's a little bit of excess. That looks good. All right. Do a little corner action here. That's great. A little smudge there. Great. All right. Let's try to do that other one. I'm going to just flip this around, I think. Something like that. So crack there of some sort. Not going to worry about it. All right, now this will gem. Super. All right, we got some of those pesky pencil marks on here. I think I got them. A little bit more glue. Boy, I go through this every single time. There's a liability to this Gorilla Glue, at least for me. Maybe your luck is, you know, is different. But I always end up with not an endless amount of time, but having to spend some time chasing down the excess glue. That's that. I think I'm going to take a orbital sander to the back of this, just to smooth up where I had that excess glue on the back. But that's about it. Yeah, so something to stand this up. Like that. Ready? Like that. There we go. I'll be able to sand this now. Cool. Oh. That's about it. Didn't take much. Didn't take much. All right, so now it's I think it's shellac time. And I think, considering the spalted nature of the wood, I think I'm going to use clear shellac. Bleached shellac. Yeah. Anyway, we'll need a stand to put it on, and then some shellac. It'd be great. Hold on just a minute. All right. Well, it's my understanding, you know, it's my understanding that you should always thin your shellac when you buy it, at least from these people in these containers. So I've got a little cup full that I'm, you know, working out of. That'll be fine. I'll put this back. Nice thing about moving it to the cup is if I pick up any contaminants, I won't put it back in the can. That's good, right? And now thinning. I'd love to tell you if there was something, but I don't have a clue. just an amount. I typically put in about a half, quarter to a half of what I've got in there. Volume of spirits. You know, it's not accurate. It's a thing. Doesn't matter. It evaporates. You know, 1 minute's there, 1 minute's gone. We've got a pine board that I'm working on top of, excuse me. And I don't know that I want to have shellac all over it, so I'm going to wipe this up. Cool. All right. Little block. It's going to work out the charm. First thing I'm going to do is in the back. So we'll bring out a little bit of the color. You know, color. This is pretty colorful wood. And these days I used to always be looking for the best quality of this and the best quality of that, because that's really what my clients wanted. At least that's what I thought. That's what the people that my clients employed told me that they wanted, as in the architects that I worked for. And these days, as you can tell, I'm going for the crappiest, most distressed pieces of wood that I can possibly handle, and then trying to produce my designs in that. Alright, so there's that. Back is done. Now, just see if we can slop some on the front. Nice thing about the shellac, I believe, is that it will help this bark adhere into perpetuity. That's sort of what we're looking for. The bark edge finish, right? I don't know. Right? Cool. So this, I'm not on the bark, but everything else other than the bark I will lightly sand, and more than likely put another coat of shellac on, because I don't mind it. The shellac is susceptible to excessive amounts of alcohol setting on it. But here's a little, I mean, that's what I think anyway. I don't think very much alcohol is going to get on this. So I think I'm all set. Get the end grain sealed. So a little bit of color, a little warming up the color a little bit, and sealing it so that it will sand to a smoother finish. All good. And it won't mark, you know, with handling, I believe. Pretty cool. So another coat of shellac, I'm going to sand in between, and then I'll mount that. Then I'll drill some holes for mounting it to the wall, and boy, then it's wrap it up time. Stamp it. Oh, I didn't do the top. Okay, I'm not gonna say you should have told me. I should have been watching myself. But I didn't do the top. Waltzed right around that part of the problem. Huh, bark. A little bark issue here. Well, if it comes off with a wet brush, it's going to have to stay cut off. I'm not going to glue it back on. All right. This isn't much of a shelf, but I don't imagine that you need much as ancillary support to sunglasses. I don't know even what you'd put up here. Maybe the spare Metro Pass or something. Urban people, you know. Can't be car keys because, you know, they don't have a car. Anyway, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to move this to the drying rack, which is a joke, but and then get on to the next thing. We'll see in a little while. All right, so shellac has dried a couple of coats and in between. I like the shellac finish. It's good and hard. No one's going to spill drinks on it, I'm pretty sure. Now to finish off, I've got a dusty shop. It's dust everywhere. It always is. Nothing I'm going to do about it. So everything gets buffed before it goes out of the shop. And buffing with a little bit of lubricant, wax. Today it's Minwax, paste wax. I'm sure that there are differences. I don't honestly recognize them between different brands. I've got a couple of friends that swear by the products that they use to the point that they go out of their way to get them. That's great. It's good to have friends. To me, it's just it's just a lubricant, and it's temporary. I'm not going to touch the bark. There's no point in trying to do anything to it. It's a mess. So, end grain. That's that. A little bit more. Now, to the underside of the hood of the shelf. Top of the shelf. I have the option of doing the back or not. You know, as I say this, I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. I don't think I'm going to bother. It may, the only thing it could solve, it might make it feel better. It might make it feel better. I'm going to do it. It might make it feel better. This is going to be a present. It's not going to be an installation. It's going to be a present. They're going to hold it in their hands. May as well go for the full tactile. Oh yeah. Knocks all the little atmospheric nits off. Gone. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Something as simple as that. A little wax. Got a couple more things I'm going to wax today. So now it's buff time. I have a buffing rag. It's in a drawer. Keep me from using it for anything else, I think. Anyway, that's going to be that. Super, super. I can catch myself. I'm trying to only buff in the direction of the grain. Who knows what I'm thinking? Who knows? All right, so that is that. What's next? Next is mounting the bar on this thing. Let's do that. I grabbed the drill bit. I don't know if it's the right one or not. I'm going to do a test, rather than embarrass myself with having to then plug a hole in the brand new thing. I also have to drill 2 mounting holes. I think I'll do that on the drill press to make sure that they're straight. So test on the screw. I think this will work. Okay, that should work. That's super. It's a good size. Never come off, which is fine. And that goes on there. I'm hoping this works out. And my holes are pretty good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Leaving nothing to chance. Drive this one in first. These screws are a little bit long, but here we are. Hopefully it doesn't split anything. Let's think about that. That drill bit is set exactly the length. All good. All good. Just, you know. You can't measure too well. You can't measure, no, you can't measure too much. That's that one. Love it. And now, whatever happened to that one, this one will work. That's that one. On the screw. Hello! Done.
You told me to stop by sometime when I was out.